Throughout history, devastating tragedies have significantly shaped human civilization. These catastrophic events, whether natural disasters or man-made calamities, have left indelible marks on societies. Understanding these historical tragedies helps us learn from past mistakes and better prepare for future challenges, fostering resilience and awareness across generations. Tragedies in historical context refer to events causing widespread suffering and loss. These events often disrupt societies, economies, and cultures, leaving lasting impacts. By examining historical tragedies, we gain insights into the vulnerabilities of human communities and the resilience displayed in the aftermath of such calamitous occurrences. The fall of the Roman Empire stands as a monumental historical tragedy. This decline, marked by political instability, economic troubles, and invasions, led to the disintegration of a once mighty civilization. The fall reshaped Europe, leading to the medieval era and highlighting the consequences of internal strife and external threats. The destruction of Pompeii by Mount Vesuvius in AD 79 is a poignant reminder of nature's power. The volcanic eruption buried the city under layers of ash, preserving a snapshot of Roman life. This tragedy underscores the vulnerability of human settlements to natural disasters and the importance of disaster preparedness. The Black Death, which swept through medieval Europe in the 14th century, was one of the most devastating pandemics in history. This bubonic plague decimated populations, altered social structures, and triggered profound economic changes. The Black Death's impact underscores the critical importance of public health measures and disease prevention. The Great Fire of London in 1666 was a catastrophic event that ravaged the city, destroying thousands of homes and landmarks. It started in a bakery on Pudding Lane and spread rapidly due to strong winds and wooden structures. The fire reshaped London's architecture and prompted significant urban planning reforms. The Irish Potato Famine, also known as the Great Hunger, devastated Ireland between 1845 and 1852. A potato blight ruined crops, leading to mass starvation and disease. Millions perished or emigrated in search of better opportunities. The famine left a lasting impact on Ireland's demographic and cultural landscape. The Mongol invasions of the 13th century, led by Genghis Khan and his successors, were marked by unparalleled brutality and conquest. Vast regions of Asia and Europe fell under Mongol rule, resulting in widespread destruction and loss of life. These invasions reshaped political boundaries and influenced the course of history. The Sack of Constantinople in 1204 by the Fourth Crusade was a pivotal moment in medieval history. Crusaders breached the city's formidable defenses, plundering its treasures and causing immense destruction. This event weakened the Byzantine Empire, leading to its eventual fall and altering the balance of power in the region. The Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 swept across the globe, infecting 1/3 of the world's population and causing millions of deaths. Unlike previous pandemics, it struck young, healthy adults particularly hard. The pandemic overwhelmed medical facilities and had lasting social and economic repercussions, highlighting the need for better public health systems. The Great Depression of the 1930s was a catastrophic economic collapse that affected millions globally. Unemployment soared, banks failed, and countless families were plunged into poverty. The ripple effect of this financial disaster led to widespread hunger, homelessness, and a dramatic shift in economic policies and government intervention worldwide. The Hiroshima and Nagasaki atomic bombings in 1945 marked a grim chapter in human history. Dropped by the United States to hasten the end of World War II, these bombs obliterated cities, killed tens of thousands instantly, and left lasting radiation effects. The devastation highlighted the terrifying power of nuclear warfare. The Holocaust during World War II was an unfathomable atrocity, orchestrated by Nazi Germany. 6 million Jews, along with other persecuted groups, were systematically exterminated in concentration camps. This genocide remains a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked hatred, bigotry, and authoritarianism, urging humanity to uphold the values of tolerance and justice. The Rwandan Genocide in 1994 saw the massacre of approximately 800,000 Tutsis and moderate Hutus over a span of 100 days. Fueled by ethnic tensions and political strife, this horrific event demonstrated the devastating potential of propaganda and division, leaving deep scars on the nation's collective psyche and prompting global calls for preventive measures. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster in 1986 was a catastrophic accident at a Soviet power plant. The explosion released massive amounts of radioactive material into the environment, leading to immediate casualties and long-term health effects. The incident exposed the dangers of nuclear energy mismanagement and emphasized the need for stringent safety protocols and international cooperation. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami devastated coastal regions across 14 countries, claiming over 230,000 lives. Triggered by a massive undersea earthquake, the tsunami's waves reached heights of up to 100 feet. The tragedy highlighted the urgent need for better early warning systems and international cooperation in disaster response. The 9/11's terrorist attacks shocked the world, with nearly 3,000 people killed as hijacked planes struck the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. The attacks led to sweeping changes in global security policies and initiated the War on Terror, permanently altering international relations and national security measures. The Syrian Civil War, beginning in 2011, has caused immense human suffering, with over 500,000 deaths and millions displaced. The conflict, marked by brutal violence and humanitarian crises, has drawn in international powers and extremist groups, complicating efforts for peace and stability in the region. The Cambodian Genocide by the Khmer Rouge, led by Pol Pot, resulted in the deaths of approximately 1.7 million people between 1975 and 1979. The regime's radical policies aimed to transform Cambodia into a classless agrarian society, leading to mass executions, starvation, and forced labor. The transatlantic slave trade forcibly transported over 12 million Africans to the Americas from the 16th to the 19th century. Enslaved people endured inhumane conditions and brutal exploitation, profoundly shaping the social, economic, and cultural landscapes of the Western Hemisphere and leaving a legacy of racial injustice and inequality. The fall of the Aztec Empire marked a significant and tragic turning point in history. The Spanish conquistadors, led by Hernán Cortés, exploited internal divisions and superior weaponry to topple the powerful civilization. The aftermath saw widespread death from violence and disease, leading to the near eradication of indigenous culture. The Armenian Genocide, orchestrated by the Ottoman Empire during World War I, resulted in the systematic extermination of 1.5 million Armenians. This brutal campaign of mass deportations, forced marches, and massacres remains a deeply painful chapter in history, symbolizing the horrors of ethnic cleansing and the need for global recognition. The Trail of Tears was a forced relocation of Native American tribes from their ancestral lands in the southeastern United States to designated Indian Territory. Thousands perished from disease, exposure, and starvation during the grueling journey. This tragic event underscores the devastating impact of colonial expansion and racial injustice. The Great Chicago Fire of 1871 devastated the bustling city, destroying thousands of buildings and leaving over 100,000 residents homeless. The Inferno's aftermath catalyzed urban planning reforms and fire safety regulations, highlighting the resilience of a community determined to rebuild from the ashes of disaster. The sinking of the Titanic in 1912 remains one of the most infamous maritime disasters in history. The supposedly unsinkable ship struck an iceberg, leading to the loss of over 1,500 lives. This tragedy exposed critical flaws in maritime safety standards and catalyzed changes in international regulations. The Dust Bowl of the 1930s was a severe environmental disaster in the American Midwest. Prolonged drought and poor agricultural practices led to massive dust storms, displacing thousands of families. This crisis exacerbated the economic hardships of the Great Depression, forcing many to migrate in search of better living conditions. The Napoleonic Wars, spanning from 1803 to 1815, reshaped Europe through relentless military campaigns. Napoleon Bonaparte's quest for dominance resulted in widespread devastation and significant loss of life. The wars ended with his defeat at Waterloo, altering political boundaries and influencing the rise of nationalism across the continent. The Battle of Stalingrad during World War II was a turning point on the Eastern Front. Fierce fighting between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union led to immense casualties on both sides. The Soviet victory marked the beginning of the German retreat, significantly affecting the course of the war in favor of the Allies. The French Revolution's reign of terror saw radical social and political upheaval. Led by figures like Robespierre, the period was marked by mass executions and extreme measures against perceived enemies of the revolution. This era of violence ultimately undermined the revolution's ideals, leading to political instability and the rise of Napoleon. The Jonestown Massacre in 1978 was a tragic event where over 900 members of the People's Temple died in a mass murder-suicide orchestrated by their leader, Jim Jones. The incident, resulting from extreme manipulation and control, stands as a stark reminder of the dangers posed by cults and authoritarian leadership. The Siege of Leningrad during World War II lasted nearly 900 days, resulting in immense suffering and loss of life. The relentless blockade by Axis powers caused severe food shortages, leading to starvation and death for hundreds of thousands. Despite the adversity, the city's resilience became a powerful symbol of Soviet determination. The Vietnam War, a prolonged conflict from 1955 to 1975, deeply scarred both Vietnam and the United States. The war saw immense destruction, loss of life, and widespread suffering. The controversial nature of the conflict sparked significant anti-war movements, leaving a lasting impact on American society and global politics. The Bosnian Genocide in the 1990s was marked by ethnic cleansing and horrific atrocities. The conflict, primarily between Bosnian Serbs and Bosnian Muslims, resulted in the deaths of thousands and displacement of millions. The genocide, particularly in Srebrenica, highlighted the devastating consequences of ethnic hatred and the failure of international intervention. The Great Chinese Famine between 1959 and 1961 was a result of the Great Leap Forward, a policy aimed at rapidly transforming China's economy. Mismanagement, coupled with natural disasters, led to widespread food shortages. Millions perished due to starvation, making it one of the deadliest famines in human history. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster in 2011 followed a massive earthquake and tsunami in Japan. The natural disasters triggered a meltdown at the nuclear power plant, releasing radioactive materials. The disaster prompted global re-evaluation of nuclear safety standards and highlighted the vulnerabilities of relying on nuclear energy in earthquake-prone regions. The Spanish Inquisition, initiated in 1478, aimed to maintain Catholic orthodoxy in Spain. It became notorious for its brutal methods, including torture and execution, targeting conversos, Jews, Muslims, and heretics. Over centuries, thousands suffered under its draconian measures, creating a legacy of fear and intolerance that has stained Spanish history. The Partition of India in 1947 divided British India into two independent dominions, India and Pakistan. This political decision led to unprecedented violence, mass migrations, and loss of life. Millions were displaced, and communal riots erupted, leaving deep scars on both nations. The partition remains a poignant reminder of the human cost of political upheaval. The Great Kanto Earthquake of 1923 struck the Kanto Plain on the Japanese island of Honshu, causing widespread devastation. With a magnitude of 7.9, it resulted in over 100,000 deaths and left countless homeless. Fires compounded the disaster, engulfing Tokyo and Yokohama, highlighting the vulnerability of urban centers to natural catastrophes. The Haitian earthquake of 2010 was a magnitude of 7.0 quake that devastated Port-au-Prince and surrounding areas. With an estimated death toll exceeding 200,000, the disaster left millions homeless and crippled the nation's infrastructure. The international community's response underscored the importance of global solidarity in times of profound crisis and tragedy. Reflecting on these historical tragedies, we learn valuable lessons about resilience, the human spirit, and the necessity for preparedness and compassion. Each disaster, while bringing immense suffering, also offers insights into the importance of unity and proactive measures. Remembering these events helps us strive for a more informed and empathetic future,